AI has just made another mind-blowing breakthrough, cracking open the secrets of ancient Sumerian texts, unveiling disturbing knowledge about the origins of the human race. For decades, these fragile clay tablets sat untouched in museums, frozen in time, too complicated, too damaged, and too mysterious for experts to fully decode. But now, with AI's power to scan and analyze thousands of lines of ancient writing in seconds, everything has changed. How could this even be possible? Stay with me until the end of this video, because we're going to uncover shocking truths about where humanity came from, and why this knowledge may have been deliberately hidden for thousands of years. Sumerian tablets reveal the creation of humans by gods. This discovery has opened a window into a world both incredibly distant and strangely familiar, a world that forces us to ask, could this really be how some of the first creation stories of humanity were told? These clay tablets, preserved for millennia, are far more than just myths. They carry the fears, hopes, and struggles of an ancient people trying to explain the very purpose of life itself. What makes these revelations extraordinary is not simply their age, but the chilling story they tell. Humanity was not born from love, chance, or cosmic wonder, but carefully designed, created as workers to serve powerful beings. And that raises a haunting question. What does it mean for us if the very first stories ever told describe humans as laborers, made only to ease the burdens of others? According to these writings, the tale begins long before mankind existed, in a time when the gods themselves carried the crushing weight of endless toil. These divine beings, known as the Agigi, were tasked with shaping the earth, keeping nature in balance, and performing relentless physical labor. Imagine immortal gods, burdened with exhausting work, struggling under responsibilities they could no longer bear. AI has just made another mind-blowing breakthrough, cracking open the secrets of ancient Sumerian texts, unveiling disturbing knowledge about the origins of the human race. For decades, these fragile clay tablets sat untouched in museums, frozen in time, too complicated, too damaged, and too mysterious for experts to fully decode. But now, with AI's power to scan and analyze thousands of lines of ancient writing in seconds, everything has changed. How could this even be possible? Stay with me until the end of this video, because we're going to uncover shocking truths about where humanity came from, and why this knowledge may have been deliberately hidden for thousands of years. Sumerian tablets reveal the creation of humans by gods. This discovery has opened a window into a world both incredibly distant and strangely familiar, a world that forces us to ask, could this really be how some of the first creation stories of humanity were told? These clay tablets, preserved for millennia, are far more than just myths. They carry the fears, hopes, and struggles of an ancient people trying to explain the very purpose of life itself. What makes these revelations extraordinary is not simply their age, but the chilling story they tell. Humanity was not born from love, chance, or cosmic wonder, but carefully designed, created as workers to serve powerful beings. And that raises a haunting question. What does it mean for us if the very first stories ever told describe humans as laborers, made only to ease the burdens of others? According to these writings, the tale begins long before mankind existed, in a time when the gods themselves carried the crushing weight of endless toil. These divine beings, known as the Agigi, were tasked with shaping the earth, keeping nature in balance, and performing relentless physical labor. Imagine immortal gods, burdened with exhausting work, struggling under responsibilities they could no longer bear. Yet even these mighty gods bent under a workload so crushing that it broke their strength. The tablets describe their suffering with haunting clarity. When the gods, like men, bore the work and suffered the toil of the gods was great, the work was heavy, the distress was much. You can almost feel the exhaustion in those words, a reminder that even beings we imagine as invincible had limits. And really, if the gods themselves grew weary, is it any wonder humans complain about hard labor today? The desperate cries of the Agigi reached Nama, the great primordial mother goddess of the sea. Moved with compassion, she could not ignore their misery. She went to her son Enki, the god of wisdom and water, who dwelled in the dark depths of the Apsu. At first, Enki resisted, perhaps tired of meddling in divine affairs, but the scale of the god's suffering forced him to act. Alongside Anu, the god of gods, Enki admitted what none of them could deny: the burden had become unbearable. And here the story takes its most dramatic turn. Instead of finding a way to share the work more fairly, Enki suggested something shocking, even unsettling. What if they created a new kind of being? A race designed to carry the weight of labor, freeing the gods from endless toil. Imagine that, according to this story, the very reason humanity came into existence was not love nor chance, but a cosmic labor dispute. But the process of creation was anything but simple, and it carried a dark, chilling undertone. To bring humans into being, a god named Gestu was chosen for sacrifice. His blood, rich with divine essence, was mixed with clay from the Abzu, the freshwater abyss where Enki resided. From this fusion of earth and divinity, the first human beings were formed. The tablets put it bluntly: "You have slaughtered a god together with his personality. I have removed your heavy work. I have imposed your toil on man." Those words cut deep, don't they? They suggest that humanity was born not only out of sacrifice, but also with a destiny already written, not for freedom, not for greatness, but for service. Ninma, also known as Ninhursag, stepped forward as the midwife of creation, guiding the process so the divine plan would take form. She was not alone. Other goddesses, Ninima, Suziana, Ninmada, Ninbarag, Ninmug, and Ninguna, each played their part in shaping the first humans. With careful hands, they molded clay infused with divine blood, fusing heaven and earth into fragile living bodies. But why were these beings made? The answer is clear in the tablets. The deities fashioned man from clay to cultivate the ground, care for flocks, and perpetuate the worship of the gods. From the very beginning, humanity's role was written out like a job description: farmers, shepherds, and worshipers. And isn't it striking how closely this mirrors the foundations of early civilization itself? Agriculture, livestock, and devotion, cornerstones of survival that, according to the Sumerians, were built into our very design. Even the place of this creation carried meaning. The texts mention Eden. But unlike the paradise described in later traditions, Eden here simply meant flat terrain. This land lay between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, the cradle of Sumerian civilization. Fascinating, isn't it, how a simple word for a landscape would evolve over time into a powerful symbol of lost perfection. And when the tablets describe humans as being made in likeness to the gods, it echoes ideas that would later ripple across many cultures. But just when you think the story can't get more startling, it takes a darker, unsettling turn. What if the gods weren't merely shaping humanity in their image, but actually altering human genetics for their own purposes? Yes, you heard that right. The Sumerian texts hint at something far more shocking. Stay with me until the end, because what we uncover about the Anunnaki's role in reshaping human DNA suggests this was never about kindness or creation. It was about control. Anunnaki alter human genetics for labor. The latest translations of these tablets reveal a story that is as fascinating as it is disturbing. They suggest that humanity's earliest beginnings were far from natural. After the first humans were made, the Anunnaki, powerful gods in Mesopotamian myth, were not satisfied. They kept modifying mankind, altering humans again and again to better serve their needs. And that forces us to confront an unsettling thought. If humans were created to serve, what does that say about freedom and destiny from the very beginning? According to these writings, in humanity's earliest days, we were never meant to be free. We were designed as laborers, tools in the hands of the gods who simply wanted to escape their own endless work. In the beginning, these early humans carried one strange limitation: they could not reproduce on their own. Every new human had to be created through direct intervention by the gods. In many ways, they were more like living machines than true beings, unable to continue their species without divine approval. This dependency ensured the gods kept total control over the human population. And why was this control so important? The tablets reveal that humans had one primary purpose: to take on the exhausting labor the gods no longer wished to endure, digging canals, farming fields, and even mining deep into the earth. Though shaped in the likeness of the gods, humans were never treated as equals. Adapa was the living proof of this success. Known in legend as chief among men, he was no ordinary human. Enki himself, also called Iyi, filled Adapa with extraordinary intelligence and wisdom, making him a figure whose insight shaped the very destiny of the land. In many ways, Adapa became the first symbol of what humanity could achieve if it were allowed to rise above servitude. In daily life, Adapa remained closely tied to the gods. He served as a priest in Ea's temple at Eridu, offering ritual bread and water while also carrying out ordinary tasks, such as fishing in the Persian Gulf. But during one of these fishing journeys, Adapa encountered none other than Anu, the sky god. This meeting would change everything. Anu offered Adapa a chance at immortality. Yet guided by Enki's warning, Adapa refused the gift. That one choice sealed humanity's fate as mortal beings forever. The irony is almost unbearable, isn't it? The one man wise enough to change humanity's destiny unknowingly denied eternal life, because he trusted the words of his creator. Was this a divine test, or a manipulation meant to keep mankind limited? These genetic changes, and Adapa's creation itself, sparked fierce conflict among the gods. Enki wanted humans to have wisdom, freedom, and growth. He seemed to believe humanity deserved more than servitude, but his brother Enlil disagreed. To him, humans were nothing but tools, and their independence threatened the divine order he sought to protect. This clash between Enki and Enlil became one of the central struggles of the Sumerian myths. Enki stood for progress and compassion, while Enlil clung to control and obedience. And isn't it remarkable how this ancient conflict mirrors the struggles we still face today? The eternal battle between freedom and authority, between knowledge and control. The rivalry between the two brothers grew so intense that it erupted into what the texts describe as a kind of civil war in the heavens. In the end, Enlil emerged victorious, pushing Enki aside and securing dominance over both gods and humans. But Enki never gave up on humanity. Working in secret, he continued to pass down knowledge and shield people from Enlil's harsh rule. This divine conflict reached its most terrifying moment when Enlil, enraged by human growth and Enki's constant interference, decided to wipe out mankind with a great flood. Yet once again, Enki stepped in. He secretly warned a chosen man, known in later traditions as Noah, giving him the instructions needed to survive and preserve life. Without Enki's act of defiance, humanity itself might never have endured. Thanks to modern AI, these ancient texts now paint a picture of human origins very different from what most people are familiar with. Instead of natural evolution or a benevolent gift of life, they describe humanity as an engineered creation, built to serve, controlled by design, and caught in the middle of cosmic power struggles. They force us to confront unsettling questions. Were humans ever meant to be free or only to obey? Were we created in the image of gods or manufactured as tools for their use? And if our earliest ancestors were shaped and reshaped by divine hands, how much of our destiny truly belongs to us? Ancient texts describe advanced technology. Newly translated Sumerian tablets hint at something shocking, advanced knowledge far beyond their time. They reference electricity, metallurgy, flying machines, even weapons that sound eerily like nuclear devices. Could an ancient people really have imagined such things? Or were they recording something real? From the Baghdad battery to bronze alloys, from strange aircraft powered by mercury to weapons of blinding light, the clues etched into clay remain puzzling. Were these myths or glimpses of lost knowledge from a forgotten past? Sumerian writings warn of cosmic catastrophes. The tablets also speak of cosmic disasters tied to a mysterious planet, Nibiru, said to orbit every 3,600 years. According to the stories, its collision with another world created Earth, the Moon, and the asteroid belt. Myth or memory? Scholars still debate. Flood narratives appear too, echoes of Noah's Ark and the Epic of Gilgamesh, supported by evidence of real floods in Mesopotamia. The Sumerians didn't just tell stories, they studied the heavens like a clock, tracking eclipses and seeing the sky as a warning system. The Sumerian problem. Some dismiss these writings as poetic myths. Others, like Zechariah Sitchin, claim they recorded encounters with extraterrestrial beings, the Anunnaki, who may have engineered humanity itself. Mainstream scholars reject this, yet the questions remain. Were we shaped by nature, the divine, or something stranger? And that may be the true mystery. How words carved thousands of years ago still fuel debates, spark imagination, and make us question where we really came from.